So in this video, we're going to take a close look at the PladyPod Max. It's a pretty awesome piece of photo gear. Before I start, I just want to say that everything you see in this video, there will be links to it in the description box down below. And I don't do full reviews, but I do like to do a close-up video of something that I bought and paid for with my own money and just talk about how I use it and just kind of give my thoughts and opinions about it. But most of all, it just lets you see whatever it is up and close, just under normal lighting. So here we go. So when I received the PladyPod, I bought it back in, let's see, late November, early December of 2022, and it is now March of 2023. So I've had it for a few months, and this is what I received. I got the PladyPod, and I got this nice little bag that came with it. It's a nice little velour bag, but I never use it. So we're going to take that out of the video. So this is it, and you can kind of see the weight there on the screen, and it's, you know, it's pretty well made, but it's not super heavy. Now let me just say right off the bat here that it is full metal construction, but this is a magnet, and the magnet does not stick to it, so it's obviously aluminum, I would guess, and that's what makes it durable but not too heavy. The magnet does not stick to this, but I'm assuming that this 3/8 post is probably stainless steel, which is a good thing because it won't corrode or anything like that. Now these are the legs for it. They're like a threaded rod. There is a point on one end, and there's rubber on the other end, and then there is a tightening collar that you have here that you can kind of thread along. So these are actually some kind of a steel, and I think they kind of have to be, because that's what keeps them in here is a magnet. When you put them in, it kind of holds them in place so that they don't fall out. So we'll talk more about the legs in a minute. And the little box that the legs are in is removable, so you can take that off of there. Now I was a little skeptical at first when I seen that this, you know, removed off of there. I was kind of worried that you might bump it, but so far I haven't had a problem with that at all. Now the one thing that I have had happen is I have banged it around and had one of these like fall halfway out, and I think once or twice I had one actually fall out on the ground. Now if you're familiar with the PladyPod Extreme, it has the legs mounted out here to the side where you can just turn them this way or turn them the other way. And if I was going to use this piece of photo gear every single day or very often, I would definitely go for the PladyPod Extreme, and I would have not just went with the Max. So let's go ahead and look at it here. And we have a 3/8 ball head mount, and it kind of gives you, if the camera can get this, it kind of gives you these little silhouettes here. It shows a ball head. Here is a 3/8 hole, which is obviously for a tripod, and then over here it has, and on either side it has drills, so you can actually put some screws through it and mount it like permanently if you wanted to a wall or a post or something like that. And maybe some people would want an actual permanent photo camera mount. That's kind of cool. Here it shows a belt where you can put a belt through here, go underneath, come out here if you want to strap it to something, or I think you could even put like a piece of string through there, a couple pieces of like paracord, and strap it down to something. And then you have a carabiner. You have a carabiner hole. Actually, there's two of them, and that kind of works good. You can put a carabiner through there if you want to, you know, hang it for carrying it while you're walking around, I guess. And then you have your holes for your legs, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes marked out, but you only have 4 legs, obviously. I guess they give you this 5th hole up here as an additional option, which is good. I've never used it. Anyway, these are kind of the only problematic thing I think that would bother most people. It didn't really bother me. When I would be out on location, I would kind of, like, I'm going to be at a location, maybe a half hour, sometimes 3 hours, half the day. So once I had it out of the bag, I would put, if I was going to use these, I would put them in, and then I would just kind of leave them in, and I would put this on a carabiner. I carry it around, and I'll show you more about how I carried it in a minute. But this is kind of bothersome to do one is not a big deal, but to do all 4 of them, or sometimes you just need 2 of them. Maybe you just want to prop it up, and that's a good thing. So again, these, a little bit of a problem. They can get dirty, and you want to make sure you clean the dirt off of them before you put them back in. So again, you have a nice sharp point, and this point is going to be great for biting into logs, for gripping onto rocks, or if you just wanted to sink into the dirt and make sure it doesn't move around, something like that. You want to steady, just like you do with your tripod. You've got your pointed feet, you're outside, and you want to really bite in. And then you have the rubber foot on the other side, and this is great if you're going to a tabletop. If you're going, I was traveling for 28 days in Thailand with my wife, and there's a lot of temples over there, and I go into the temple, I want to set this on the floor, and if I needed these, I would definitely use these to set it on the floor so it doesn't scratch. But I'll show you what else I used to set it on the floor. Let me put this back. That was even easier. So if you see this gray grid that I'm on, this is actually just a rubber shelving mat that you would put down on a shelf and then set stuff on it. So I would carry a piece of black. I use this stuff for a lot of things. This is real cheap. There'll be a link to it in the description box. So I had a piece, not this particular piece, but I had a piece that was cut out the shape of the PladyPod, and I would put this on the granite floor, and then I would just set the PladyPod on it. And then once you put some weight on this, it doesn't move at all. It will not slide around. It's pretty grippy stuff. So that, and this stuff, very, very cheap. So that's what I would use in lieu of pulling these out every time. But now if I was outdoors and I was, I got some pictures here you can see where I was trying this out when I very first bought it, and I was using it on a log just to see. I wasn't taking a picture of anything awesome. It was just an old stone relic of a building, but I just wanted to see how it would work with my DSLR. So let's get right to the main part that I think everybody wants to see, and that is about the ball head. So the ball head that I decided to use was the Joby 5K ball head, and I'll tell you a little bit about why I decided to use this. This might work for you, I don't know. So this ball head came with the Joby 5K Gorilla Pod. That's how I acquired this. I've had this for a while now, and I use this 5K Gorilla Pod quite often. Again, it's something that's like the PladyPod. You don't use it every day, but when you need it, you have it. And this will hold a full-size DSLR with a battery grip, with an L lens, no problem. So I went with this ball head because some of my other ball heads that I have, like for my tripods, are really big and heavy, and they don't fold down as well as this one does. So I went with this, and what I did was I put, get here in the center, I put a PG Y-Tech quick release plate that goes with the PG Y-Tech quick release adapter, plate, coupler, whatever you want to call it. So when I first bought the PladyPod, I already owned several of these. Things are a little bit pricey. I did not purchase these all at one time. I kind of acquired them over time. So what I would do is, just to give you an idea, this will fit perfectly, just like this, in a nice big pocket in my camera bag, which was awesome. I didn't plan on that, but it worked. So I would slide this in the pocket. This is how I carried it. I get to a location, I slide it out, I set this thing down, and if I need the legs, I set the legs up, and then the next thing I would do is I would just clip that on there, and these also have a lock that Actually, it's already locked. No, there it is. So it's locked. It won't come out of there. You know, you're going to put your big camera on there. You don't want it to fall off. And then I know this sounds a little bit crazy, but I would go one step further and I would put another one of these plates on the ball head, which actually I kept on the ball head all the time because I kind of wanted to use this thing as quick as possible. You're not going to be using it all day. You get to a location, you want to do some HDR shots or something like that, or maybe you just want to put the Osmo Action 3 or your GoPro on there and you want to do a time lapse while you're walking around doing some photography. So I would put the Osmo Action 3, put that on there, set it for 20 minutes, set it for a half hour. I'm walking around, I'm taking pictures of other things. I come back and now I want to put my DSLR on there, and all I got to do is pop that off because that has a PGY tech. And you can go to my video that I did about mounts for, I did a video about cages, I did a video about mounts, and there's a card to them up above. So now if I wanted to just go from this to the DSLR, now this is a little bit hard to get in this video because I'm in a very tight spot, but I had, now this is a full-size DSLR with an L lens, with a battery grip, and it would just go on here. If I can do this, it'll go on, no problem. And then, you know, obviously you're going to tilt it up. The ball head handles it very nicely. And then when you are ready to go, you just take that back off of there and can go back to this camera, whatever. So now let me show you how I would carry it around. So here we are, we're out on location. We have it all set up with the ball head, but maybe we're going to move to another location that's, you know, a little ways away. We're going to be walking for a few minutes. Well, what I would do then is a lot of times I would just put this down so that it wasn't so high, and I would throw the carabiner on there. And then also with the carabiner, and again, this is what worked for me. I had this, I made myself. This is just a paracord wrist strap with a buckle. And I would just, you know, put this, and you can put it on your wrist. And a lot of times when I'm out, especially if I'm in Thailand, my granddaughter's with me, one of my nieces, nephews, uncle, everybody's traveling. We're all around, you know, doing stuff together, and they're more than happy to help carry stuff. So actually my granddaughter used to carry this around a lot, which was awesome. And then when I needed it, I would just pop that off of there. And like I said, if I was going indoors, I going to be on a tabletop. If I was going to be on a granite floor, a tile floor, I used that. And then when I was ready to pack everything up and put it in the camera bag, I would just take this off, put this in the camera bag. This went in another pocket in the camera bag. And that's pretty much how I've used it. So what do I think about it? I think it's an awesome piece of photo gear. And like I said earlier in the video, if I was going to be using this thing all the time, I would definitely go for the Extreme that had the legs out there on it, especially if I was going to be using it all the time and I was going to be outdoors a lot. I think that would be good. But for just a random piece of photo gear, here's another thing that I forgot. I also keep a quarter-20 in that little hole there. I just keep that there in case I need it. Just a random thing. But anyway, if I was going to use it all the time, I would have the PladyPod Max, PladyPod Extreme, but this PladyPod Max works for me. And if you like this video, hit like, hit subscribe. I'm harmless. You can come back and check out more videos on this channel of just gear that I've bought and paid for with my own money. Get a close-up look at it and kind of determine if it's something that would work for you. Back of it is nice and clean. I should have showed that, I guess, at the beginning. Again, everybody, hit like, hit subscribe, and have a great day. Thank you.